So I'm going to talk to you today about medicine pouches, the medicine pouches that I make. Now, there are medicine pouches in museums. We can look at them and we can look at what their contents are, and we can speculate as to what they were specifically used for or made for. We can speak to tribal cultures that are still alive today and ask them what they use their medicine pouches for. But I'm here not to tell you about that. I'm not giving you a history lesson here. I'm going to talk to you about what I make and how I perceive them and how I use mine. So I just finished this medicine pouch today. It's been a lot in the making. So what it has on it are different elements. This piece is a fragment of a piece that I made called I See From My Womb. So this element being on the pouch gives it that specific focus. Now also, and you can't see this part, in here are 2 pieces of dried blackthorn sap. They're sewn into a little pocket in the pouch, and what they represent is protection. So anything that goes into this pouch is protected by the blackthorn sap. Now, the way I use these little pouches, there are a few different ways that I use them. I think of them as a little cauldron that you can wear around your neck and on your person, because the true strength of a spell, from my point of view, is the intention, and the matter gives us a way to focus our intention. And when we bind different pieces together, we're taking our association with symbols and also the Megin of those pieces, the spiritual energy of those pieces, and combining them together. So a pouch doesn't have to be elaborate or complicated. My pouch is really simple, and as you can see, really worn as well. Inside my pouch at the moment, and I change what's within my pouch all the time, I have a little selection of bones, because I've been working with my bone oracle and with memory to do with my bone oracle, remembering. I feel like I'm remembering an old skill that I maybe knew from a past life, or still have the memory of from my ancestors in my own bodies, So what I have in mine is a little selection of bones. And also what I have with them is a piece of sapphire for wisdom. So this represents wisdom. So it's wisdom around the bones. But the other reason that I've been carrying these bones around with me is that I can use them as a sort of mini oracle for myself or for other people. I can say, pick a bone. So I've been using my pouch in that way. And you can put any elements in your pouch that you like, anything that has meaning or symbolism for you, and the way that you're combining them is what focuses your intent on the putting together of these pieces. So another way that I've sometimes called them journey pouches. So if you're going for a walk, a purposeful walk, a walk where you hope to learn something, many people do this, you might find little things as you're walking. You might find a little feather or a relevant stone or a bone, if you're lucky. So putting these things into your pouch is a way of remembering the journey. And then when you get home, you can take those pieces out and remember the journey. And if there's some learning that's happened, then these pieces can be relevant, and you can focus. You can choose to say, I'm going to go on this purposeful walk. I'm going to put in my journey pouch each element that I see that seems relevant to me. And then it's like, it can be used like dream symbolism, you know, when you wake up and you remember your dream and you think about all the elements within it and you consider those symbols and try to understand the dream. And it can be the same for a walk. You know, you might have great insights while you're on your walk, you might not. But if you're looking for an answer and you're going for a journey in that way for an answer, picking up these elements can help you to untangle a little bit more when you get back, or help you to remember what it was that you learned while you're on your walk. So another thing that I did with my pouch was, I've been learning about the runes from my partner, and one of the things that he did to learn about his runes was to focus for a certain number of time on each rune. And my chosen way to do it was I made the first Aep myself. I physically made it, and then I wore in my pouch each rune for a set period of time, and thought about the things that were happening in my life and how they were relevant to that rune and to my learning about that rune. Another thing that I sometimes wear in my pouch is this tiny little bottle which contains snakeskin and ash from the fire, and I tend to put that in my pouch when I'm bleeding because it reminds me of the importance of understanding about shedding skin, because that's what I feel I'm doing when I'm bleeding. I'm shedding a skin, an inner skin, and the ash is from sacred fires that I worked on with Carolyn Hillier, and many spell work was done around many different fires, and the duty of a certain clan, because Carolyn Hillier has clans within her women when you do one of her workshops. So one of the clan's responsibilities was to take the ash from every single fire that we did magical working around, put it into a particular pot and stir it with a magical Ravenclaw knife. So this is a little bit of the ash from that fire. So it's to remind me of Circle, to remind me of the women, because it seems particularly relevant at that time. So I will sometimes wear that in my pouch when I'm bleeding. There's another kind of medicine pouch that I make, and those are the ones that are sewn closed. And the way that those are different is it's a much more purposeful and stronger spell. Every stitch is made to bind the spell together, to bind the elements together. So the last pouch that I made was for a woman who was in deep grief because her son had committed suicide, and her community, her village community, commissioned me to make a piece for her to help her in her grief, and also to show their love and compassion and solidarity with her. So that was a really strong, very, very purposeful piece, and it's sewn together and it will always be with her. It's unchanging and unchangeable. So in that sense, those pieces work very differently.